So here we are with Jude, and I'm going to go right into it. Here we are on the awakening world. So tell us how this book is all about our awakening world.
Well, what I found so wonderful is, first of all, it's sort of an example of something that we spoke of before we came on air, the degree to which people are linking up and lifting up together. And instead of the old hierarchies or the old follow me or whatever, it's much more now radical collaboration and nurturing and support. And that for me is a sort of a temperature gauge for our awakening world. How do we do that? So the book itself is an example of that, because my dear friends, Kurt Johnson and Doug King, and my other dear friend, Bob Atkinson, we came together because primarily it was an impulse of Doug's, appreciating, and all of us indeed appreciating, that this is a time when leading edge science is actually converging with the tenets of interspirituality and universal wisdom and indigenous teachings. And for Doug's work, especially with Christianity communities and interfaith communities, he felt it would be really lovely to see how, our different perspectives might come together. And as the book speaks to, the awakening to a new earth and a unitive age, because I bring as part of what I share is this emergent cosmology of a living, loving, evolutionary, unitive universe, which again is so convergent with those deepest of wisdom teachings.
So within that beautiful vision, how do you personally manage the juxtaposition of watching the horror of what's going on in the world?
Realizing that, having profound compassion for the horror of what's happening in the world, perhaps a realization that all of that arises from what I call our collective dis-ease of separation.
Mm.
Because the way we see the world, our worldview, our mindset, is the lens through which we not only see the world, but the basis of the choices we make and the behaviors we enact. So if we're seeing the world through a lens of separation and materiality, we'll naturally behave accordingly. Hence, conflicts, hierarchies, inequalities, all the that we've been going through for a very long time. And also with a scientific paradigm that's basically said, indeed, that this is the nature of reality, that the world is only this physical reality, material reality. It's a reality of essential separation, a universe that's devoid of meaning, bereft of purpose. And so where does that place us? If we're a meaning-making species, if we're a storytelling, sharing species, where does that place us? And it places us in very lonely places. And yet now that's been turned completely on its head. So now that the leading edge science across many, many different fields of research and at all scales of existence is literally turning that old paradigm on its head and revealing a universe which meaningfully exists and purposefully evolves, a living and loving universe, an evolutionary universe, a unitive universe, again, which converges with all of these wisdom teachings. This empowers us. It invites us, it seems to me, to co-create a new and unitive narrative. And that of itself can help underpin and frame transformational change in the world. So this little book, this little e-publication book, is a wonderful, joyous opportunity for Doug and Kurt and Bob and myself to bring together that understanding from our different perspectives and our different journeys to this point, to hopefully share and serve the good of the whole at this incredible moment of potential transformation.
In your understanding of how and of course, we are watching how our most modern science is validating scientifically what the spiritual teachers have been
Yeah.
saying for. Do you see in your global view, are we going to wake up fast enough? Is there going to be an an exponential growth in human awareness and awakening fast enough to overcome, the very real challenges of climate change and all the wars that are still taking place?
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. I wouldn't be here and working as I do and having these conversations if I wasn't hopeful and authentically hopeful that yes, we can. But it is our choice. It's our collective choice to do so. I think this is what's so wondrous about our universe. Our universe, from its very first moment of space and time, nearly 14 billion years ago, has embodied an evolutionary impulse to evolve from simplicity to ever greater levels of complexity. And on our own beloved planetary home, Gaia, her story is a story of collaboration for 4 billion years. Now, that collaboration has involved competition, but that competition has helped drive progress. But where there's been an evolution from simplicity to greater levels of complexity, it's absolutely been founded on cooperation. So it seems to me that first of all, we now have the evidential, the scientific evidence. It's not faith, it is evidential underpinning that we are inseparable, that we can no longer, if we so choose, see the world through a lens of separation, act accordingly. We are being invited, it seems to me, and empowered and hopefully inspired to change our glasses, to clear glasses that can see the world as it truly is, as interdependent, co-evolutionary partnerships at every levels. So it seems to me on that basis, Scott, and it's, all that you do with Awakening World as well, there is this awakening and it's speeding up, it's accelerating. And one of the things that's happened as I look back, 14 billion years as a cosmologist, which I do, and 4 billion years as an evolutionary biologist, which I do, I see that evolution has 3 speeds. Where situations are fairly stable, it's fairly slow, very slow. Where they are changing with, for example, the way in which our planetary home Gaia, orbits the sun, her wobble on her axis, all of those aspects that change over thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, which mean environmental change, then evolution speeds up a little bit. But when there is a situation which is unsustainable, either an environmental change that comes from within Gaia's entire Gaia sphere, which through, for example, earthquakes or volcanoes or whatever it may be, or 66 million years ago with an asteroid and the demise of the dinosaurs. When there's most significant changes, the old falls away, but then new comes forward. It's like new springs of change very rapidly and significantly. Now, what I'm seeing now, I think what we're seeing now, is not that level as yet, and we hope not, of catastrophe, but sufficient change, not just in our environments, but in our collective psyche, because we've come to a point that is unsustainable. So the changes in our collective psyche, you were talking about, are we going to be fast enough, can happen incredibly fast, just as biological evolution can occur very rapidly as the need is. So I would suggest that our conscious evolution can happen very quickly too. In biology, there's something called horizontal gene transfer. And it's when these very rapid reassemblages, reconfigurations of emergence take place and things move on to a whole new arc of evolution, complexity. I talk about horizontal meme transfers because memes are our conscious genes in that sense. So if we can start to share and spread this new understanding and live it, not to role model it, but to soul model it, then I feel this transformation, this birthing of our next chapter in our adventures as human beings can be very rapid indeed. And then we can not only survive and thrive, but we can heal our relationship with Gaia and with the whole cosmos. We've separated ourselves from each other, Mother Earth, everything pretty much. It's time to remember, I would suggest, who we really are. And that remembering is happening every moment of every day with more and more and more people.
Mm. You're very, very inspiring. And you have such a beautiful voice, too. So the combination of your wisdom and that beautiful voice is like, I just get entranced. All right, so I have a slightly woo-woo question for you. And recognizing that, you are scientifically based, cosmologist, but also can see the bigger picture. We've had multiple guests over the years that I respect who talk about, from both the spiritual point of view and a metaphysical point of view, parallel universes. So there is a common thought that there's going to be, some people call it the bifurcation, that there's going to be a splitting off of worlds, that, those who have reached a certain level of consciousness will, transition into the world of, I call it rainbows and unicorns, right? Um, and there's some people that say, okay, that's what happened to the Mayans that didn't want to deal with conquistadors and what was going to happen, and they transitioned to a different plane of reality. From any of your points of view, do you have a perspective about that or a thought about that way of seeing a possible future?
It's such an intriguing question, apart from anything else. And there's a lot to unpack within it, but I'll do my best because it is such an important question. First of all, the whole premise, and I'm calling it a premise, it's not even a theory, let alone anything else with any evidence, of parallel worlds, came about some years ago because it was becoming very, very clear that our universe, all those billions of years ago, didn't begin with what we've been taught of as a Big Bang. It did. It was tiny, yes. Facetious big, it wasn't. It was tiny, we know that. But the implicit nature of a bang is that it's chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how our universe began, and nor has it continued ever since. So I describe that as the first moment of an ongoing big breath. Our universe began in its most tiny form, but incredibly fine-tuned and ordered, not random, not chaotic, but all of that enabled it not just to exist, but it enabled it to embody, because of the innate relationships between all its forces, and the laws of physics meant that it could evolve from simplicity to complexity. But the point there is, it was so finely tuned that if you are someone who didn't accept that essentially mind and consciousness aren't something we have, they're literally what we and the whole world are. They are, that there is the fundamental nature of reality. If you don't accept that, if you have a material separatist approach, a reductionist approach to the nature of reality, then that incredible level of fine-tuning has to be random, which means there has to be multitudes of parallel universes where every quantum split in our universe is echoed in others, and where everything, so we literally are one of literally an infinity of universes. But if you bring back mind and consciousness, universal consciousness, to the grounding of the nature of reality of our universe, then that changes everything. Because what we can then have a perspective of is our universe being a great and finite thought of an infinite and eternal cosmos. and therefore created and brought into being by that infinite intelligence, by that infinite cosmic mind, whether we call that cosmic mind, as Einstein did, or God or Allah or great mystery, whatever nature and form and name we offer, this is what the evidence now is showing us. So that is the first point around parallel universes. But just to go back to the point, might it be that a point comes where individuated consciousnesses, such as ourselves, may choose to move into another realm of being? That could well be the case, because the emergent understanding is of a multidimensional universe. Therefore, there may be other ways in which, you know, our own microcosmic co-creative consciousness can take a different route into the future. For me, though, it comes back to my question, why am I here? What am I here to do? And I hope what the answer for me is to serve the good of the whole, to serve this evolutionary, universal evolutionary impulse, to serve it in its glory and its wonder, to say yes to the invitation of our universe to grow up and to link up and lift up as co-creative and co-evolutionary partners of our planetary home and our entire universe.
Beautiful. You know, my mentor was Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, and my favorite quote from Marshall is that the greatest joy in life is to be of service to others.
Yeah.
And I've added that the greatest tragedy in life is people who don't know that.
Yes.
You know, it's a blessing to learn that, to know that.
It
and
is.
then life is good. And when you don't know that, life can be very chaotic and confusing.
Yeah.
This has just been a homeopathic dose of Dr. Jude Currivan. And again, of course, this is all part of today's show, all about this beautiful ebook, Awakening of Humanity. But to get more of Jude, I want to direct everybody to her website, and it's WholeWorld-View.org. WholeWorld-View.org. And it's a beautiful website. You know, her story of Gaia is such a powerful, powerful book, all about the big breath, not the big bang, but the big breath. And I really encourage everyone to go to this website, watch more of her videos. There's a lot there. Definitely learn about her story of Gaia, because she presents an understanding of our beautiful Mother Earth that is so powerful. It's her latest book, the follow-up to The Cosmic Hologram. And I just learned today that she's working on her third book of the trilogy, which is all about us, all about humanity. And as always, sign up so that you can keep track, and she can send you periodic emails from her Unity community. Dr. Jude, thank you so much for this little homeopathic dose of your very special medicine, your very special wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. And isn't it wonderful to be at this time, here and now, and the potential for a unitive age, which is what the book really invites us to enter into.
Yeah, we're so blessed to be finding each other. You know, we are the imaginal cells of the dying caterpillar finding each other to build a new paradigm, to build that beautiful butterfly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.